What's next? How important is it to be right? Is it more important to be right or to win the argument? Because you have to think to yourself, if I'm talking to someone and I don't support what they're saying because it contradicts what I know and I have unbiasedly looked at this information, is it really that important? I mean, you might think, well, I want to help this person. I want to put them in a better place. They're misguided. All this information might be true, but the truth is they're not going to listen if they're not ready yet. So you need to understand that although what I understand and what I know contradicts what they believe, until they're ready to listen to me, it doesn't matter. And when you have a fact that you know, you have to stop yourself and think, how does this benefit me? How does knowing this fact that's different than someone else, how does it benefit me? And if you need to convince somebody they're wrong, how does that benefit you? Because arguments benefit nobody. I've been rolling this around in my head, thinking about, news reports versus conspiracy theories versus alternative news. And all this is interesting. But the real truth is somewhere in between all this. When you have two diametrically opposed opinions, the truth is usually somewhere in the middle. Because no matter what, the conspiracy theorist or the news reporter, they need to keep people interested. They need to keep people engaged. And one of the most powerful engagement tools is fear. So even though both sides, the news reporter and the conspiracy theorist, might think to themselves, I want to help people, but I need them to pay attention, both sides will use fear. Now the news reporters on the TV and the radio, in other places, YouTube, internet, they also need to rely on not just their viewers, but also their supporters, the people who are giving them money, their sponsors. So the news reports also need to kind of balance reporting the news, but also having their sponsors continue to sponsor them. It's all very convoluted. Life is about understanding not just the truth, but the perspective from the person telling you that truth. And remaining unbiased is always a challenge, because every conversation we're going to come back with our own perspective. And no matter what fact that you know, that you learn, you have to think to yourself, how does this benefit the person telling me that fact? And second, how does this fact benefit me? Being unbiased is always a challenge. And even when someone tells you, oh, it's settled science, there's no such thing as settled science. Science is always evolving. And that's why back in the Middle Ages, the most unbiased scientists were the monks who worked, who were in the churches. The monks could do whatever they wanted to do their research to understand the world around them, because the church controlled them. So they could do all the research they wanted, and then when they went to present it, they were allowed to present it in a way that supported the church, that was able to, say, oh, no, this doesn't go contrary to anything in the Bible. Everything's good, and here's why. It's all about releasing the truth, getting to the most ears, and also making sure the person who is supporting it, who is sponsoring it, keeps their narrative up. Life is a complicated tug of war between truth and getting people to pay attention to that truth. And you have to decide, is it really important for me to convince someone they're wrong? Or is it more important for me to win the argument? But that's just my perspective. I would love to hear someone else's. And one more thing. There's a truth that bugs me more than anything else. Convincing people to wear 2 masks. The reason why they want you to wear 2 masks is because one side believes that wearing the 2 masks, you'll actually get a better fit. It actually wear one of the masks correctly. That way the second mask is actually pushing the first mask against your face in the right way to wear it correctly, because most masks are not worn correctly. Take the idea that masks don't do anything. Let's forget that. Let's just talk about the masks. Let's pretend that the masks do accomplish the goal. And a surgical mask has 2 sides to it anyways. A hydrophobic and a hydrophilic layer, which one side repels water, one side absorbs water. That's all great. But the way people wear it, their nose exposed or not close enough to their face. So it's really not working as it's supposed to. So if you wear the second mask, it'll cover up the first masks. So now the first mask is doing its job. On the other hand, wearing 2 masks will actually make breathing more difficult, which means neither mask will be worn right. So people who are actually wearing the mask correctly will actually be more prone to wear them incorrectly, because the 2 masks inhibit their ability to function normal life. And at the end of the day, the real truth in the middle is the reason why they want you to wear 2 masks is because no one wears their mask correctly, or very few people wear their mask correctly. And the only people who do wear their mask correctly are in the healthcare field, because they've been trained in how to wear masks. But again, these are just my perspectives. I'd love to hear yours, because I want to learn every day. And as I get older, I don't want to be stuck in my own warped belief systems. I want to constantly evolve my mind as I evolve my soul. What's next?